friends that are ICE agents. They resent some of this. Quite frankly, they think that they say that, hey, we're doing our damn job. They say they're being mischaracterized as the bad guys, quite frankly. And they say they go out of their way to make sure they do the right thing in Pittsburgh. And folks like Gainey, they say, put them in jeopardy by making them the bad guys, when in fact they're doing their job. I wanted to grab fantastic immigration lawyer here in Pittsburgh, whose staff and some of his folks were also at that rally that was in front of the federal building yesterday. Joseph Patrick Murphy, good morning, man. How are you?
All right, Marty. Nice to see you again.
Where do you fit in on this? Would you agree with Gainey that they should ignore ICE, not welcome ICE in the city of Pittsburgh?
Absolutely not. ICE, as you said, they're just doing a job. The job is what it is. Most of the ICE agents I've worked with over the years very strongly believe in law and order. And really, if you ever need a break in the system, they're the ones that can give it to you. Case comes to mind a couple years ago where a fellow ended up, was playing soccer, fell down, had a broken leg. He was a young man, and everybody, why has this guy got a broken leg? They took him to the hospital. It turned out he had bone cancer.
Whoa.
And it turned out that he went to a Catholic hospital for long-term care. The nuns found the deportation paperwork in his pocket, called me. I took it down to the ICE office and explained to them, the guy's up in the hospital with cancer. They canceled his deportation. So these people are not wild animals. We may not agree with the policy, but you can't take that out on the ICE agents. That's not appropriate.
Yeah, they feel like they've been demonized, and I get that you're feeling that there's some defense of their position, right?
Well, I mean, the fear is always that someone with law enforcement powers would abuse those powers. What we're getting is this kind of strange inversion of reality where because I don't like it, you did it for a wrong reason. That's the opposite of the way it's supposed to be. That is to say, if you're doing it for the wrong reason, I don't like it. But it doesn't go both ways. Just because somebody doesn't like what ICE agents do doesn't automatically mean they're doing it for a wrong reason or that they're evil people.
Joseph Patrick Murphy, fantastic immigration lawyer. Hey, man, so here's the narrative.
Thank you, Mark.
And you know this narrative. The narrative is Trump folks said, step it up. You're only arresting 1,000 a day. You got to arrest 3,000. And because they did that, ICE agents have gone past, let's snatch up criminals, to let's snatch up anyone that has any immigration issue, including folks on the way to their immigration hearing. Is that accurate, sir?
Potentially. I don't know why the expansion of the ICE raids certainly has expanded, and it certainly has expanded beyond what they originally told us it was going to be, rolling up criminals. Whether that's because of a need for more to speed up the process or not, I can't say how that happened. Again, that's always concern that this is evidence that things are being done wrong. But I can't say one way or another why, if they've decided to start arresting people beyond the original stated grounds. Again, if you remember, I told you before, when they first said this, it was supposed to be criminals, and they didn't mean library fraud or something like that. They meant criminals. And then it was, well, we're going to get the criminals and anybody we find around them who might be illegal. And now this is expanded on into where you're finding 18-year-old kids getting arrested, people on their way to work, people on check-ins. This is an expansion beyond what we originally thought this was going to be. Obviously, some people were perfectly happy to have it expanded, and some people didn't want any of it. But that's the tension in any public issue.
Well, your high-profile case that you handled amazingly well was a college student with a case that had gone away, a drunk driving case that had gone away, to kind of suggest what you're saying. They were being heavy-handed, right?
Yes. I think in that, I'm not sure. I mean, I heard rumors that they had experimented with artificial intelligence to try and identify subjects to deport. And almost all of the kids that caught up in that visa revocation had some sort of criminal involvement in the past. But almost all of them had either beaten the case or gone through diversionary program and had the case dismissed and expunged. So under our law, they're not guilty. So using tools that are designed to deport people who are guilty of crimes on people who legally aren't was the problem there, and ultimately why we were able to get those kids their visas back.
Joseph Patrick Murphy. Hey, Joseph, what about the Americans say to hell with you? If you're here illegally, you need to go. now. Have we become that reactionary? Have we, sir?
You know, my father was a drill instructor in the Marines, and he once told me that it takes a very, very long time to get the Americans angry. They're generally a happy-go-lucky kind of people. But if you ever do go far enough to get the Americans angry, God help you.
It's true.
Because they can be quite ruthless.
It's true.
Just talk to the people, the citizens of Hiroshima. So, yeah, I mean, there may be that going on here. I don't think it's possible. I think it's a childish idea. As I've said on other podcasts and things, you know, perhaps if there could be some sort of magic wand to wave and undo all this irregular migration, and these people would suddenly be home, and it would be pain-free, and it wouldn't hurt us here, and it wouldn't hurt them, and they'd all be back in their home country. Well, yeah, that would be great, and I think most people would agree with it. But it isn't going to be that way. It can't be that way. And as Americans, we, as a group, tend to, Democrat and Republican, tend to make the best of whatever situation we find ourselves in. And that situation is lots and lots of irregular migrants have moved into our society, and in many cases, integrated. They have jobs, they have kids here, they're marrying Americans, they're in our high schools, they're serving lunches. Taking millions of people out of the country doesn't just take them out. It takes their productive capability, the tax revenue, the work they do, the people they save. It's almost like It's a Wonderful Life, right? What if you had never been here? And that's kind of my thinking on the subject. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I have suspected for years, even during the first Trump presidency, that this was ultimately going to be headed toward another 1986-style amnesty. And if that is your plan, well, then you would want to rate up all sorts of troublesome characters before you allowed everybody who is still here to get a green card. Because we don't have the capacity to process all these people. It would take, we're just so short-staffed at immigration. There's so few immigration lawyers. You know, not a lot of people got in this business.
Nope.
Historically, it wasn't particularly glamorous.
Are you slammed?
Law schools aren't teaching it.
Joseph, are you slammed?
Yeah,
Are you?
I got people in the waiting room now. I had an immigration hearing that was scheduled for 8:30. The screen, it's by televideo. The screen's still black.
Whoa.
We've been waiting for hours for the judge to come on. We call the court. It hangs up on us. We go to on hold, and it hangs up on us 4 or 5 times. We finally get somebody on the line. They say, "No, you're all right. Just wait there." Imagine what. Luckily, this client speaks English and is a pretty understanding and high IQ kind of fellow. But can you imagine paying a lawyer? Like we charge $3,500 for a hearing like that. Maybe you don't speak the language. You go into his office and sitting there for 2 hours with nothing happening, you'd think the guy had lost his mind.
Wow.
So this is the kind of stuff that I mean by overloaded. There's no capability, even to. It's pretty rough.
Joseph Patrick Murphy, the best, man. I love your perspective, man. You're always welcome here, my man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Marty.
They are slammed. Slammed, folks. They did a hell of a job, too. They're really cool. Man.